This is someone325. This is their game 2 with someone having an advantage of 1 game. This is a winner's bracket race, so they are playing to continue staying in the winner's bracket, and the loser does not necessarily drop tournament. They have more chances to fight their way back. We should be getting started here soon. And we are off. Both starting at Link's house. Don't be fooled by their armors. They do not have red mail starts. They just like to fool us. But we do have red pendant start at Tower of Hera and red crystal at Desert. And normal crystal at Eastern. Alright, already some divergence. Someone's actually going for... Probably not going for the bombs on the island. This is more likely to be a setup for the fake flipper. This is an older way to get to the bridge. There's actually a free lineup for this fake flipper that nobody knows because the other setup was found so soon after. Specks at Saha's Closet rewarded with a sword for checking that early. It's an easy one to put off. Small key in Sanctuary, something to remember for later. The Sanctuary key does have some uses outside of the escape if you set it up correctly. Not often used, but it's a good insurance to have for if you spend your Hera key in ways you're not supposed to, you can get it back by clipping to the escape and stealing it. Specks going clockwise towards the mountain. I'm assuming this goes towards the mountain. Someone going straight up the mountain, not even bothering with the Lost Woods. I think in the past I've seen Specks go up the mountain and then clip down, do Graveyard Ledge, and then run over to Kakariko. Which is not usually done from Graveyard Ledge. Usually from Graveyard Ledge you'll do Houlihan into something in the south. Specks might have a little bit easier time on the mountain, being able to defend against dead rocks. First person to see the lumberjack, too. It is... Oh, I can't tell what that is. If anybody can tell what that is, let me know. Specks looked at it twice, so it must have been interesting. It kind of looked like half magic, but I'm not sure. Alright, double clipping. Up the mountain, down the mountain. Half magic was with the old man. We haven't... Oh, we saw the old man. Someone has a full health bar. Magic bar. And Specks has a moon pearl, so it's just sitting there in the mountain. I guess that would be spicy if it was no glitches. Technically, you get it as a bunny. In this mode, you just clip to it, so it's boring. Yeah, none of us could see. I guess we'll have to watch the runner's behavior or hope someone gives us a better look. I don't think someone's route is conducive to looking at all. Maybe he'll clip up the mountain, but he's already been there. So the incentive to check Lumberjack is pretty low. If we see a runner in Aga Tower, we'll know it's good. There's no other reason to do Aga in this mode. Even in the 99.9... I don't know, the 0.9% chance that it's Moonpearl on Pyramid Ledge, you can still get it without defeating Aghanim. Someone has actually been the first one to reach Kakariko Village, which is surprising, because I think Specks' route gets there pretty early as well. But someone just beelining it. When you have nothing, like no weapons, no hearts, you don't really want to do South Shore or East Death Mountain. It's pretty dangerous. I think Specks is a little more incentive to do things that aren't Kakariko because of the sword. Our Hera presenting us with a big key, presenting Specks the opportunity to climb and get the items upstairs. It is a pendant. I don't know if I'll do it. I think you're very justified to just walk out of here because you're going to enter this so many times in the seed. By the time you decide to go up, you'll probably have Hookshot, Tempered Sword, and so on. Or you just never do it and the Fire Rod was on Moldorm. That never hurt anyone. Yeah, Specks would probably not be doing this mountain play without the sword. Going through Spiral Cave with only 3 hearts is a nightmare if you have nothing to defend yourself. You're just throwing bombs at Moldorms, hoping that the RNG lines up, maybe dashing past them and praying that they're out of your way. Sometimes you get hit by the same one twice. It's so unfair. Specks is not finding very much in Kakariko that's more than just a fetch quest. Has a few hearts to work with though, so at least Death Mountain will be more survivable. Flippers in Paradox Cave. Flippers actually make the South Shore checks slower. You want to have a water walk going to Zora if you can. If you have flippers, you lose your water walk and you have to run all the way around and do a bunch of swimming. One of the reasons I like to do early South Shore is because not having flippers is actually kind of huge. But not having money is also not great. And someone is in a good position to have money for South Shore. I'm assuming Specks will too, because he's going to Kakariko, which is where someone found all the money. Not a whole lot showing up south of Kak either. Desert Big Chest is a shield. I didn't see if the other item was found. But regardless, we can't get it until we have fire. Yuna's cave. Normally the final check, someone's going to walk out and check cave 45 before save quitting. I don't think there's anything else you can do here, unless something turns up there. He could conceivably walk from cave 45 to South Shore. That might be why he's routing it this way. I've never timed it. I don't know. I don't actually know if walking out of Agina's cave is slower. I just assume it is because it feels slow. There's a lot of screen transitions. But saving and quitting is also slow. And so is like clipping. Like if you have to clip a bunch of times and you're not very fast at it, it can be faster to just avoid clipping. The Red Ruby pickup's telling me that someone has South Shore on the mind. Alright, we're gonna see some niche clips. I don't know if this is faster than just running around, but oh, you have to be careful doing stuff like that. Okay, jumping off the bottom of a ledge like that can put you on the screen transition weird. Usually you just get an auto walk, but sometimes you get an infinite walk, and that's not good. Then again, I don't think someone's really found anything good. The mushroom could turn up something. Maybe we'll get a dupable sword in the dam. Okay, I saw someone leave and not go to Mini Moldorm Cave. Someone has 2 bombs, and that's it. So, Mini Moldorm Cave, I think, would not have been a successful venture. He can go here. He can get there from here and collect some bombs. I was going to say Cave 45, but I think he's done that already. This is where the sword that Specks found in Saha's closet will come in handy. Someone is actually just going to buy bombs and go down to Mini Moldorm Cave. I wonder if he knows the clip. I'm going to assume he doesn't, unless he goes somewhere else. You don't normally do the clip straight to Mini Moldorm Cave unless you're already in that shop area. Yeah, there's a clip. It should be on the map. South of the fortune teller. It's a little bit tricky. You have to do some collision kicking to keep yourself from soft locking. But if you have good like instincts for collision kicking, you should be fine. Oh, nice big hop for Specks. Hold up left out of that transition and then hop off of that elbow and you'll get a nice big hop. We did some timing and it's actually faster than going above or going straight across. Someone's taking the bombs to Death Mountain. Does have a full magic bar and a cape, so survivability is not too much of a concern, but bombs are a really slow way to get around Tower of Hera. And this is someone's first glimpse at the Moon Pearl, because he hasn't climbed the mountain from Old Man yet. He just went straight down. Finding Moon Pearl before you find your first weapon is a little bit scary. Yeah, Specks is pretty ahead. It's mostly because of that sword. And someone having to go buy bombs. And then someone's about to do Mini Moldorm Cave, which... Sorry, Specks is about to do Mini Moldorm Cave. Somebody will do it. Oh, the dead rock's up here. You just need to get a little bit up to see it, but the dead rocks always know how to block you, just enough. So, Quake was in Mini Moldrum Cave. Questionable utility in the early game, but could be required later. It's one of those, if it's required, someone just has to get there eventually things. I don't think he'll be hurt too much by missing it, unless he never goes back and it's required. Someone is on 1 heart, but that's fine because he can get 2 in here before he meets any enemies, unless he runs into his own bomb. I don't recommend doing that. He's cutting it close. Pacifist implies that it's a choice. I don't think someone has much in the way of weapons. So it was just the flippers here in Paradox. It's really starting to look like our progression is just going to be in the Dark World somewhere. But neither of them really wants to do that because there's nothing pointing a direction at where to go in the Dark World once you go there. Like, this is where I would just be like continuing to clear Light World because you're missing something that will make the Dark World better. If there's absolutely nothing, fine, but you're probably missing something. Someone is missing a sword. Okay, someone has 2 bombs. One of them has to hit the Smoldorm. He gets it. There's a foot on Zora. A little late for that. Probably not getting activated. Someone will get his bombs back here at least. I think Specks is actually going to activate the flute. That's very surprising. But maybe it's for Mushroom. I like having an active flute when I need to turn in the Mushroom, because every other way to get to Mushroom sucks. Like, I think you get back most of your time just doing Mushroom turn-in. The second check shouldn't matter. The bottle was in Kakariko. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was like in the well. Or in the chicken hut. It was very close to Sick Kid. If someone knows the clip to get from Witch to Saha's closet, this would be a really good opportunity for him to get his sword, if he follows the same path as Specks. Specks was... Yeah, Specks hasn't been here yet, because he went to Saha's closet and found the sword. One of the reasons I like to do the early hobo is because if you get good RNG from the archer, I like to take advantage of it, because I don't know if I'm going to get good RNG the next time I'm there. You can use spin speed. I find the spin speed kind of finicky. Whenever I try to spin speed clip out of like a north railing, I get these like weird little teleports and I get kicked out of the wall. I find it easier to just clip through. Specks aggressively chasing Light World. I not only appreciate this, but I did this in my last race. I was not happy with going to the Dark World with the little equipment that I had, and I would not be in this seat either. Someone's doing exactly the same thing Specks is doing. I really hope to see the clip down to Saw's closet to get that sword. Okay, we're in the escape. Someone's not in the escape. And did not do Saw's closet. So this might be a Dark World play for him. We have a map check. We have green pendant at Skullwoods and a normal pendant at Swamp Palace. Womp womp. No fun allowed. We don't even get like a perfect alignment of seeds that make you skip items. You can skip the flippers, but we have them. This could be a hover seed. Someone also used a fake flute as Link, which is not seen very often. It gets you here faster. It does skip bumper ledge. So if you are not planning to go up there yet, you might be missing out on checks, but you're also missing out on the chance to waste time in Skullwoods, so, you know, it might be a plus. I actually missed someone picking up the blue potion at the witch, but turning in the mushroom and getting the blue potion was a nice combo move. It was something you used to see a lot in No Logic, except we never turn it on mushrooms because they have use as an item, believe it or not. Bombo's in the hut. Still can't use it. Need a sword. Bombos could be the medallion for Meyer, but it could also be locking the fire rod in Ice Palace. Someone's taking the slightly slower route, but I think this is a better route for when you don't have a sword. Because when you go up and around, you're usually dashing through enemies, taking damage. Specks made it all the way to back of escape. This is not in Logic. It requires fire or the glove. But there's a sword. And who cares about Logic? You get a sword. That's worth it. Specks is already up 2 swords on someone. But someone is... Oh, this is interesting. Someone is in Thieves Town but can't actually kill blind right now. I'm not sure I'd be doing this, but... He could get lucky. There could be something here. That lets him kill blind. I'm not sure if he's aware of his inability to kill blind, or if he's trying to get like an early edge on Specks by doing this play that you wouldn't normally do. But he is up a game. He can afford to make weird choices. Speaking of weird choices, Specks is choosing to climb Hera. I don't think it's actually weird, but it is a pendant, and we don't have a hook shot. We also might not get a hookshot this seed, and I know that Specks has been practicing hovers. One thing that Specks might be going for is information on whether the small key is available for Swamp in Hera. Not knowing that Swamp's dependent yet, because he hasn't been to the Dark World. Yeah, Gammatree makes a really good point. Is like, he won't really be able to exit Thieves Town without getting kicked out of the Dark World. Because of the way the game works in the vanilla game, when you die in the Dark World, the game checks if you've defeated Aghanim, and if you haven't, it'll just put you in the Light World. We turn this off in Rando normally, because it's weird, but in Glitch Rando we like to use vanilla behavior when it makes sense to, so that behavior is still on. And wow, Hookshot on Moldworm is such an interesting location. This would have been like a, oh no, you have to unlock Hera for real from Meyer, but we actually just got the big key. So you just climb Hera normally and you get your Hookshot. It's kind of dumb to get that in a hover seed. I really hope that doesn't hurt someone, or that someone can just like skip it and be fine. Now Spec's finding out the exact value of that hookshot he just found, which is questionable value. Deciding to go to Hookshot Cave with it, he will have to do a little extra clipping to get in through the back door. I like to start with Hookshot Cave because it gives me time to think about where I'm going next. And it gives me something to do that's not committing to a dungeon when I don't even know if it's a pendant or crystal yet. One thing I did not pay attention to was whether Specks got item 2. Okay, someone is death warping on blind. Has dropped off blind though, so it's not a complete loss. He can come back much quicker and basically do the blind refight as if he had failed doing blind. Meanwhile, Specks did find a hammer in a Super Bunny Cave. Making this what I like to call a soft hover seed, where people who can hover Hookshot Cave are more likely to go here and more likely to find that hammer, but you don't need to hover to get it. And you can also just find the hookshot, like Specks did, because it was very early. Someone is also going there, which is really good, because that hammer will at least give him a weapon. He's probably not gonna... Nice. I love seeing people try to hook that chest. It looks like you should be able to, and then like halfway through the hookshot you realize this is not going to work. Link should be allowed to cling to the sides of objects. Like, he has hands, right? He can do it. He doesn't have to Breath of the Wild everything, but like being able to cling to a side of a chest should be allowed. Anyway, hammer for someone. We'll see what he does in Hookshot Cave. I wouldn't be surprised if he just doesn't go in at all, because going in the back doorway just for one item is pretty unappealing. Unless you're accomplished at hovering and expect to get all 4. So yeah, he's just gonna skip it. I'd be doing this too. If you really wanted to get the item, actually, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to swim clip up the mountain. Because it puts you at the bottom of Death Mountain where you do the Hookshot Cave clip. But, yeah, it's still not great. Yeah, we did jump from Turtle Rock to Catfish. They're next to each other. And there's only a thin wall separating them. Catfish did have a bow for both runners too, which means they can do pod if they want. Someone would have to do like a swordless back of Helmasaur, which would be terrible. Specks could do it pretty easily, but it's still not free to do the path to Helma without any fire. Eastern is a much more appealing play, so Specks is going there first. Someone's also going there. Lack of sword's not going to hurt someone as much as in Eastern as it would in Pod, and also someone's making the right call of going to Saw's Closet first to get the sword. He probably won't be too happy to see this here, knowing that he went all the way through Thieves Town and could have just had the Sphere 1 sword. Not much to talk about going through Eastern. Specks pulling out bow strats. He's really applied himself to learn the randomizer strats for everything, which I'd like to see. So far, just Powder and Map and Big Key showing up at Eastern, so it will probably not be skipping the back. Oh, the mirror's here. You could skip it now if you want, but yeah, Specks will skip it. Mathematically, they always say mathematically, you save more time by skipping the firelock chest and then going back in if it's an item. Psychologically, most people won't actually go back in, so you have to know ahead of time if you're willing to do that or not. Or if you're willing to, oh, that's not a bow. That's not a bow at all. Other than the hookshot grab, now someone has a little bit of a... It's not a straight lead, but ahead in Eastern at least. The question remains, if anybody knows, let me know. Does someone need the hookshot to beat this seed? No shame in checking your menu. And someone coming out with mirror, something you would like to have in Thieves Town as well. I think someone would have probably just mirrored out of the front four if he had that. Someone's going for the firelock chest, so he will gain time if the item is here and Specks goes back in. Or if the item is here and it's good and Specks doesn't get it, then it'll be huge. Specks has made some pretty big, hard skips in the past. I don't know if he's maintained that strategy. Some of them have benefited him and some of them have not. That's the nature of big skips in this game. Well, I don't see him going back in when it's the compass. So, I don't see him going back in when it's not the compass either, but Specks will win the Eastern race, even despite being on the wrong item and mirroring out. I wish I had the guts to do that skip. Specks has quite a few things he can do here now. I think GT is really good. He's just gonna do pod though. Pod is probably better. If you're comfortable with the back of pod, this is a really good time to do it. You have the mirror, you have a decent sword, hammer, and bow. One downside to doing pod is a good portion of it is out of logic behind the lamp, and we don't have a fire source yet, so the lamp is a little bit more important to pay attention to. And that's crystal for someone. Wow, it really highlights how much time you save skipping the big key chest in Eastern. Specks has already entered pod, unlocked the door with some free cave keys, and then gone back in to actually be in real pod. Where does someone go? Probably pod. Let's be honest. You got the hammer, you got the bow. Someone has bombos, which is actually really good to have in the turtle room. Alright, nice classic teleport Kiki skip for someone. Just keys, so we don't get to skip anything in Bowlock side. If Bowlock side is 2 keys and you know it's 2 keys, you can skip them. Because you spend a free key in the front and then you can hammer jump for the other key. But if you don't know it's a key, if it's an item, you have to go for it. Hookshot was on Pendant Moldorm. It was accessible from the bottom via the Hera Big Key in the basement cage. Specks checked Hookshot Cave after, and I don't believe you found anything there. But someone also went there, didn't do Hookshot Cave, but also found the hammer in Super Bunny Cave, which is the thing I was worried about. Nice Bowlock bow and pod. Isn't Swamp open? Swamp might be open if we have the Mire Medallion. Or if the small key is vanilla. But it's also a pendant. I don't think they really want to know until they're ready to do it. It does seem like this might be a swamp seed, though. The mirror does have a little bit of logical significance. Swamp Palace is always either mirror locked or lamp locked by logic. If you have the mirror, even if you're going in through Mire, you can go out and mirror and pull the dam and go back in and be in Swamp. If you don't have the mirror, you're expected to save and quit to the old man to enter Swamp, and you have to have the lamp to rescue the old man. So that's what makes it lamp locked. Is Specky allowed in this mode? You know, that's a really good point. I should ban him. I don't think he should be allowed. He's too good. But in all seriousness, Specky Clip is allowed. It was pretty unambiguously deemed very similar to things we're already doing in HMG. And beyond just Harapot, like we're clipping through walls. Doing a tiny rail clip with the hookshot is no big deal. Hammerless Swamp is also just straight up in logic sometimes, not through Specky Clip, but through double dipping that area from the Hera to Swamp clip and flooding and then going back in and swimming on the other side. Nobody does that anymore unless the hookshot's in Swamp. The Specks having turtle troubles, like predicted. This room is really hard when you don't have like any of your good tools. Specks should probably drink that potion now. But yeah, it's really hard to do. It appears like Specks also rushed the back. Oh yeah, Specks does have a better sword. Yeah, if you're using the hammer, then every time you miss with the hammer, it has a chance of like flipping the turtle back over. And you can just be working against yourself the whole time. So even if your sword isn't doing full damage, it can at least let you find the enemy without flipping it over. Alright, someone correctly key counting. There is a key in Harmless Hallway. See, someone has Bombos, and that's actually really good to have in this room. But Specks did make it through. Dark Turtles is just awful. Like, depending on your speed, it's probably just faster to Kiki skip later and come back for it if you expect to have a hard time with it. Like, if you're going in and you have, like, absolutely nothing, you should probably just put it off and come back later. You're probably losing time trying to do it. I don't think you can Quake the turtles. That would be too easy. You can... I want to say that Quake does something to them when they're down, like maybe it stuns them, but it doesn't flip them over. You would think it would. I'm a little mad that Quake doesn't flip them over, because Quake doesn't get enough love in this game. Alright, let's see how someone handles the back of pod. Has significantly less health. Well, it does have that same red potion that Specks had. Well, actually, I don't know if he does. He spent it. He replaced it with a blue and then spent it, so he might not actually have a potion. He does have a second bottle, but I was not looking at what's in it. Turtles only, like, you have to have the hammer for the turtles. It's the only thing that will flip them. It just so happens that there's nothing that turtles are blocking that aren't already hammer locked. Yeah, hammer and then bombos is a good play. Like, that's what someone will probably do. It would be interesting to fire some silver arrows around, but I think hammer bombos would be a better use of your time. Especially with half magic. Yeah, that's a cool... I really like what someone did. Just did the NMG strat and hoped it worked. And if he had had the Master Sword, he would have gotten most of those turtles in that play. But instead he knocked them backwards, confirming that he did in fact flip them. And then cast bombos to actually get the kill. Look how much faster that was compared to not having bombos. What is next for Specks? Specks is in the Dark Maze. And has a whole bunch of Dark World to do. I think Thieves' Sound is good. Hammer makes it very appealing. We know there's nothing in there except maybe on blind. Or in the Hammerlock chest, for that matter. That would be pretty painful for someone. Because earlier on, someone went into Thieves' Town with no weapon for blinds and dropped off blind and death warped. And then realized he couldn't actually do anything from the death warp because of fake Dark World. Can they get into GT? I think that's actually what Specks is doing now. He might be super jumping. This is GT. This is how you get to GT. You do a clip in the bottom of the world and land on the top. It's the same thing as hair clip. It's done slightly differently, but it's the same idea. GT is a good option when you have hammer and hookshot because it puts a lot of chess in logic. And it's not that slow to get back here if you're missing other things. Yeah, he can do everything on the left side just fine. He even has Ice Armros, silver arrows. Just can't climb yet. Well, we do tile room when we're not in go mode, but we don't have the cane, so we can't do tile room right now. Someone's following the mirror to the escape. He hasn't actually done the escape yet. I noticed that someone corrected camera before fluting. You don't actually need to do that. The bird will pick you up just fine if you're wrapped vertically. Okay, so Mario has shown up. That does put Specks in an awkward position if the big key is in tile room. Because he's gonna do tile room last on this route. Alright. Pyramid Fairy for someone. We haven't seen that yet, but it didn't end up being anything. Someone might be having a little trouble exiting. Okay, we got it. It almost looked like someone was entering on purpose, like expected to have a bad camera and was fixing it. So for someone, this will be just some steps retracing. We won't have to death warp at least, and the ball and chain guard has the mirror. But everything else will be the same as what Specks did, assuming he goes all the way to the back. And that's an ice rod and a big key in random room. Fire rod could be go mode. No, fire rod and glove. We do need a glove for Ice Palace. There is one rock on the way to Cold Stair that he had to lift. And someone has Bombos, and I forgot where that was, but I think it was just Village of Outcasts, maybe Bombable Hut. So I don't expect medallions to be an issue unless it's Ether for Meyer. The fire sources can be here. There's nothing stopping them. I don't think there's really any, like, key layout except maybe one small key on each side. Like, one small key in the right side and one small key upstairs that would prevent Fire Rod from being placed on the left side. Ice Armrest requires 3 keys, so yeah, it would have to be that. There would have to be one upstairs and one on the right. I guess there could be, like, if it's Kane that you're worried about, there could be one in tile room as well, but the right side can only have a key if the big key is also there. We know it's not going to be because we said we found it. The Specks still has no fire. No fire to light torches, no fire for bombos use, or fire rod use on Cold Stare. Not checking tile room. Yeah, that's interesting. Specks totally could have done that, but just chose not to, I guess. Knowing Specks, though, was probably a choice, and not just, I don't like where Specks is. Okay, there's a hard lock transition there. But it's from a save and quit, so it's fine. I don't think Specks liked where Specks was either. Fixing camera this time. Probably just wants to descend the mountain normally. This would be a really, like, timely... Like, you want to know what the Maya Medallion is now, I think. Someone doesn't care as much because when you have 2, you assume it's 3. When you have 1, you assume it's 0. XCOM logic. No one's ever been hurt by fire rod in tile room. If Specks finds lamp, though, he might go back for the climb. And then get tile room on the way. But I don't think Specks will do that, because it's Specks. We are just on the mountain. We're just like on the mountain tile set. Like the graphics have copied over. Someone getting second sword in back escape. That is an out of logic sword, even now. Not that it matters. Once we have one, it doesn't matter as much. So someone's starting the Dark World route here. So using that Pyramid Fairy portal, not just to get Pyramid Fairy and escape, but also to enter the Dark World, which is a great thing to do when you don't have a glove. Entering the Dark World from the south without a glove requires a super jump from the mountain, which is pretty slow, or it requires you to just like start somewhere else, and that's what someone has done. You cannot do Ice Boss without glove. That is, you need one glove. There's a rock in the way in the pre-Cold Stare room. That's the only dungeon that requires a glove in glitch modes. Glove can no longer be in ice. There was a time when it could be, because there was a screen wrap that would get you in there. But we took the screen wrap out of logic because it was not consistent with the other things that are out of logic, or in logic. So now it's the sequence break that's available to you. You don't need to find the mitts, but the mitts and the glove will never be placed in Ice Palace anymore. Which is good, because gloveless ice was pretty terrible. Like, getting there sucked, and doing it sucked. At least when it's hammer and ice, the game will give you the mitts, and you'll know, like, oh, I should probably go to ice. But when it was glove and ice, you had no idea you were supposed to go in there. You had the flippers, and you were like, I guess I follow the flippers and go into ice. Specks always makes really good use of the cape. I hope he knows about the cape glitch. The Running Man glitch. And how to deactivate it when it happens. Smith cannot have gloves in this mode either. Smith Chain and Ice Palace are logically behind the mitts. Someone finally giving us our medallion check. It's Bombos, so Specks will find it on the way. It's in Bombable Hut. And someone ending the route here. So I like this route where you start at Pyramid and end at Mire. And then do Village separately. Rather than like clipping up. Because like clipping into Mire and then out of Mire again when you're doing the south to north route is very slow. There's a lot of back and forth screen transitions you have to do. You have to cross that screen like 4 times. So just ending it there and then coming in from the north I think is a really good play. Someone will follow Specks into GT though. This is going to give him the Cane of Samaria and the Ice Rod. Maybe we'll get a tile run from someone. And for Specks doesn't know the timing. Or forgot about it. I always forget too. Structural Mike timed it so that if you are missing the glove in Thieves Town and also are not getting the big chest, it is faster to just mirror out with the maiden and then go in from the front than it is to do this backtrack. I guess someone knew that there was nothing in the big chest. I wasn't paying attention, but we didn't get the key, so Blind has either has the item or just doesn't have anything. Someone will get there though, like it's just next time he's in the area he'll just do it. He has enough safeties that the off-script blind's not going to be a problem. And it doesn't end up being an item anyway, so he loses the time, like the normal time that you would lose from dying to blind, just having to go back in and do it again. And I guess that south route he took, that ends in Mire, makes a lot more sense when you realize that he already did Village of Outcasts. I'll probably save Blind for when he's ready to dip Pendant Skull. But at the moment he has better things to do. So Specks has not seen Mire Medallion yet. I like the idea of Specks going into Mire and exiting out Swamp to do Hype Cave, but it's a better idea when Swamp's a crystal. The problem with going into Mire right now is when you don't have a fire source, you're probably leaving something behind. You might be able to clear the dungeon and be perfectly fine, and you also might just be leaving both items in the fire lock section. This does raise the question of where are they supposed to go right now? I think Swamp Palace is probably the play. You had the Mire Medallion, you had the mirror and the flippers, and the hook shots available for one of them at least. So Specks is doing the Mire, I'm assuming Mire into, if the big key doesn't show up, just exit out Swamp. And then if the big key does show up, you just do it. You can also mirror out and continue normally. I think this is a good play for Specks, because of how much he's already done. I think someone was also very justified in skipping this, because of how much he hadn't done yet. Alright. Mire. The final medallion is just in Mire, so that was never going to be an issue. And someone's giving us our tile room check. Specks skipped this. If this is Fire Rod, it's going to be very hard for him to return. But it's just a compass. And someone cannot do anything more in this dungeon. No fire, can't even sequence break the right side. Okay, Mire turning out nothing. Except Ether, I guess. Ether and 10 bombs. So we got both items at least, but I actually missed if Specks got the big key or not. But it doesn't really matter because doing Vidi right now is not really that beneficial when you still have to do Desert. He could just come back and slam it with Desert later when he has fire. And if the lamp shows up, he'll have a faster backup Mire than he has at the moment. I think it's Swamp Palace too. Like, that's... It could just be Turtle Rock, but Fire Rod and Turtle Rock is stupid and I hate it, so I want it to be Swamp. For someone's sake though, like, someone's picking up Thieves Town. He left Blind behind because he didn't have a weapon. So he'll be cleaning that up. Bit of a shame that he doesn't have beams for the fight. It makes the refight a little bit easier. So someone has a lot of choices to make that are pretty unfortunate. Specks has a lot of choices to make, but one of them is full clearable Pendant Swamp, which I think is better than the choices available to someone. It's a very high Samurai block. I didn't know you could do that. Front of Skull is also untouched. They didn't even one and done, they just ran past it. What can Pedestal have? Pedestal can have the Fire Rod. Or, sorry, anything but the Fire Rod, which means it can have the glove. That's the only other thing we're looking for. Someone might need the hookshot. The Pedestal couldn't have the hookshot for someone because of Swamp. I think someone's gonna need the hookshot just because something's gonna be in Swamp, but... And if it's... even if it's in the front, like, you're going through here to get to Swamp usually, so I'll just get it on the way. Although I said the same thing about homemade beer earlier, and he didn't do that. Specks did a pyramid swim, I think. Did he actually get the items inside? Or did he just walk out? I think he got the items inside. Specks turning in some fetch. You didn't see him go inside? Maybe he got the, like... Yeah, he walked out and got stuck outside. Okay, that's what I thought I saw. When you do the pyramid swim, you walk out, you have to dash turn back in. But it's really easy to, like, forget the steps and just walk out by accident. Usually what happens is like you're trying to walk back in by holding up, but you can't do that. You have to dash turn in. Funny enough, it makes this one of the few glitches that actually requires boots. And also one of the few glitches that requires Moon Pearl, because you're getting a Moon Pearl water walk in there. Someone's making it very clear his intentions. Already has Bombos out before clipping to Mire. Has nothing else to do here. We're going into Mire. Similar dead end to what Specks has. Except maybe there might be a hair at the swamp component. Whereas Specks is just going straight into swamp. Because everything is pointing to swamp right now. You can kill the Moldarm, you just can't collect the item while it's midair. If the item falls on the ground or there's no item at all, you're fine. Nice clip. And I expect to see some more clips from Specks coming in. Interested to see if he goes for the actual pendant, given that the only thing that can be unped is the glove. And the fire rod would have to show up first to even have that be accessible. Swamp lamp locked if Viddy has a small key. I think we actually uncovered that that's not true, even though it should be. The swamp logic is kind of hacked in, and I think people are actually working on putting in like pull requests to get that fixed, but swamp logic is currently borrowing from the left side Meyer logic and is checking for the usual things that the fire lock chests check for, except for the actual fire. Which means that, yeah, you have soft lock potential because of apparently Viddy can have a small key. Which I guess it's not really soft lock because you just like do Dark Mire, but still. So Specks just found both, or sorry, someone just found both items and left. Hopefully this gets him closer to the hookshot. Because the hookshot would probably entice him to swamp. On the other hand, if something's in Turtle Rock and he goes there instead, and that could be huge because Specks could just be wasting time here. I think it's swamp, but it might not be. It could be nothing. It could be both. It could be swamp has the glove and the fire rod was just sitting in TR the whole time. If swamp has the glove, you're probably following that glove and missing out on the fire rod. But someone is getting the hookshot. It's good to see. I could see someone going into Turtle Rock because it's near Hookshot Cave. And it has all 3 medallions and multiple entries, including, you know, Mimic Cave. That's also available. If I were in someone's position, I think I would probably do like Hookshot Cave into TR. In Spec's position, I'd be in Swamp. So both of them, their plays make sense. You could also just go to Swamp from here. Specks has the book, but funny enough, the Tempered Sword, or the Master Sword, is still out of logic. Because it was in back of escape. It's locked behind a fire source or the glove, which we're missing. Okay, I did not know it's actually faster to mirror even with the glove. Or it's not faster, but it's like almost tied. That's actually nice to know. I bet in the reduced lag mode it'll be even faster because getting through that 4th quadrant of Thieves Town will be faster. Yeah, when you're in Pendant Swamp, you do left side. That's just the rule. You don't enter Pendant Dungeons and then skip chests. But it was big key and map. If the big key is blocking something, then it could be good, but if you didn't care about pedestal, you could also just like Hera state the whole thing and use the Hera big key and skip all of this. Alright, someone is doing what I predicted, which is really cool, because usually runners don't do that. We're in Turtle Rock. And neither of them has found anything yet. Despite, you know, a couple items showing up on Laser Bridge, and the entire front of Swamp being cleared. Fire Rod, back of Swamp. Specks wins. Not the race, but at least this part of it. Because, what do you do with the Fire Rod? You just do Turtle Rock. So if there's something here, Specks will get it. Now, what if it's Glove on Ped? Specks just mirrored out, so it could still be, you know, it's a glove. There's two of them. If there's a Glove on Ped, you just find the other one. It's fine. But still, could, you know, you never know. I definitely agree with mirroring out, though. Like, you find the Fire Rod, you're looking for a glove. There's two of them. Sure, it's rare, but in HMG, like, gloves hardly required for anything. So it could just be there. We had a glove on ped. We had a glove on ped race earlier. Somebody actually pulled it because there was just like the other gloves was behind a very deep hammer. Oh no! Someone took too much damage. Someone was actually, I think, trying to get out of Bunny State. Thankfully he has a fairy. I don't think that's faster than just waiting out the bunny, but I don't think he... Maybe he forgot that he wasn't actually on Red Mill. Ah, you got yourself. Ooh, Specks trying to enter the portal but gets dead rocked. It's the... Consolation Fairy. So yeah, it turns out this seed, not a hover seed, because hookshot hard required for the Fire Rod and back of Swamp. It was a due to pendant dungeon seed though, maybe more. Alright, almost a high five. Someone will walk out the front because no Fire Rod, or try next. This is probably going to lead into Hookshot Cave, which we already saw from Specks. But notably, the glove has not shown up. It can still be on Trinex if it's an item. And then Mimic Cave. Someone is in a good position to check that right now, but I think Specks will just kill Trinex and then check Mimic Cave if glove doesn't show up. Oh, no Hookshot Cave. Okay. I hope someone knows that the glove can be in there. If he doesn't, he'll save time not doing it. Glove can be in Hookshot Cave because the Hookshot Cave has two doors, and only one of them is locked by a rock. Mimic Cave, shovel. Specks finding himself glitch locked out of front of TR. Sometimes you can go all the way through, sometimes you get glitch locked. So you have to go in through the side or the back. The side is what the game logically expects, and Specks can also do Mimic Cave. Won't do it though. Not doing Mimic Cave here is interesting, because you kill Trinex, it doesn't put you here, it puts you in the front. So this is just a hard skip, but Shovel only just led to 300 rupees. Everything Specks has skipped so far has not punished him. That's not to say he's never been punished, just not in this seed. I've seen him lose races to hard skips before. One place Specks can also return to is Ganon's Tower. Someone is not going to Swamp. This could be Skullwoods. Skullwoods is cool. Yeah, Specks loves the cape. He makes good use of it. One of the big, like, rando skills is working with your items. Like, most of the time I see Specks using the cape, he's, like, saving time. Like, he's not just popping it on for safety. He's using it to allow him to move through rooms faster and do fights more efficiently. Definitely using it as a tool as much as it is a safety. But they're also, like, Laser Bridge is a little less free when you don't have, like, the free door when you mirror wrap in, so you don't want to die on Laser Bridge either. Okay, Skullwoods without Fire Rod for someone. I don't see Specks going in here. He has a lot better things to do. So if the glove is here, it could be good. It could just be another glove in GT though. I like this brute force hookshotting. It's good. Oh, a heart piece. Someone's leaving Skullwoods, probably counting items or counting keys. You wouldn't just like go in here and find nothing and leave. If there could be another item in here. So what's next for someone? Back to Thieves? I don't know what he's expecting to find here. Desert Palace? You can clip the desert from here. It's not going to accomplish anything. This makes me think that, like, item in big chest is haunting someone, but someone doesn't have a key. This is weird. I don't really know what's going on. I guess we'll just have to see. I wonder if someone is just, like, going to desert. No, desert would have been kind of cool, but not really worth it. Because you could clip the desert, walk out, and do, like... I don't know, he can't do desert. He has not fire. But like, you could theoretically do desert in Fake Light World if you wanted to. I think this is thinking about big chest. Or re-rescuing the maiden. But I see these some marked in the tracker, so I thought you already did this. Oh, we're getting the hammer out. We're gonna bonk into the door. Let's go. What's this? A locked door? Oh, that feels bad. It really can't feel good to, like, triple dip thieves. But someone does have Swamp available. I'm wondering if he's thinking, like, Swamp's not available, or if he's thinking, if it's Swamp, I'm dead. Meanwhile, Specks is taking... I don't think Specks actually did the GT basement right side. I think he's just climbing. Which is fine. It's glove go mode. You can do whatever you want. There's gloves everywhere. Every dungeon you go to has a glove in it. Until you run out of dungeons. Then you find yourself going into, like, the Tyler room that you left behind. The Mimic Cave. One thing someone hasn't done, I think, is check Lumberjack. I remember seeing something odd on Lumberjack, and I'm actually wondering if it was a glove. So let's take a good hard look at this. You guys have better resolution than me, so I'm relying on you. What is it? I think it's a male. I think it's like an armor. Because it looked kind of blue. It would have been kind of cool if it was a glove, but we don't really want someone to be distracted from what he needs to do, which is go to swamp. What I want to see is someone gets the fire out of the swamp and keeps going and gets the glove from pedestal or from the boss if it was an item on the boss. I guess Specks has a logical tablet now from the fire rod, because you can do a fire rod back of escape. Okay, what's happening to someone here? Someone's fake fluting to 7. What are you doing from a fake flute to 7? You go to swamp. First chest of swamp. I don't think he's unlocked this. Bex is live on his own stream, so I can report that he's climbing GT and has not marked a glove on his tracker yet. And we have a vanilla smoky for swamp. I didn't even notice that. So vanilla smoky is funny because someone's actually going to get the fire out and feel really cool about it, getting the vanilla smoky. I don't know if there's really any benefit to doing that over just like using the Harakey. I don't know if Harakey is locking an item. If Harakey is locking an item, then this could be good because someone can use it in its proper place and maybe get a glove out of the basement. Okay. We got Specks back. Personal tracker not marking a glove. So I'm gonna assume there's no glove in top of GT. We get to see some cape strats. That's like his thing. He loves doing cape strats in Aga. He makes good use of it. Someone has the opportunity, I think, to skip left side swamp here. I think when he finds the fire rod, he won't do left side, but he's behind by like 2 dips of Thieves Town, which manifests as Turtle Rock being finished and GT Climb being finished. However, if there's something in GT basement, if that glove is there, someone could get to it first. I hope I didn't call him somebody. I do that a lot. You blew it. Damn, got it wrong. I thought you were trying to trick me. I wasn't fooled by someone's reverse mail order. I'm not gonna get fooled by their name. Specks doing the rematch of Pyramid Fairy. He failed this last time, got dunked, nice. Last time, I think he tried to, like, instead of dashing, turning back in, I think he tried to walk back in, and that kicked him out. You can get dunked in here by collecting a heart piece that refills you, because you're in water walk. So someone collected the pendant. I don't know, if there's an item in the big chest, then someone had reason to believe that this could have been an item. Oh, I guess Specks found a sword upstairs. I missed that. But someone's saving a little time. I think doing Pendant Argus is a little faster than doing Left Side Swamp. I want to see a ped pull from someone. That is his out. His other out is GT Basement, which I think he will be doing, of course, Turtle Rock now. But GT Basement is okay, he's not doing Turtle Rock, but GT Basement is his out, because we know it's not TR. Maybe he knows it too. Maybe there's no item there. So yeah, GT, maybe Climb, maybe Basement, maybe Glove. Specks showing that you don't need a glove to do desert, you can just clip past the rocks. But both runners have been fireless for the entire seed, so this one hasn't been touched for a long time. Yeah, someone is up a game. Okay, our tracker, Other Tom, shoutouts by the way, is telling us that there's been an item here the whole time that they have been unable to collect until they got this fire rod out of Swamp. Makes me wonder where the lamp is, but I think the lamp can just be anywhere now. Okay, we got a bug net. And a rupee. And a glove! Someone! Our first runner in go mode, but behind by a couple dungeons. So, someone only has to do... It's still a lot. It's GT Climb, which he'll do last, because you can do it last and save a little time. Desert Palace. Just try next Turtle Rock, because I already got the big key. It was not fire locked. And both runners need to do Mire and Ice. So, Specks pairing Desert with Mire. Someone will be going... Where is someone going? This is probably also Mire and Desert together. This is like the All Dungeons route. The old one, you go in and you do Desert first to get beams. Let's see what route he takes. Oh, he's not going there. Okay, he's just taking a different path. The optimal way to Desert Mire is to go south of Stumpy and clip there. Yeah, the fire rod's not lamp locked also because of, I guess, the busted Mire logic, but also because the mirror has been available. There's a couple ways that Swamp could be lamp locked if the logic was working correctly. And the seed bypassed both of them. So I'm thinking ahead about what Specks has available before going back to GT. All of his dungeons that he's cleaning up are just go modes. So he's no potential to waste time there. And I don't see a whole lot of other options. He could go check the tablets. Bombos is pretty close by. He has the flute. Both of them are nearby. Ether can be done on the way to GT. This is oh, this switch. I hate this switch. Oh, we landed at the front of the room too. GT is definitely the most tense location for him. I'm a fan of just doing the climb and then coming back immediately after you've done your crystals. Lack of glove isn't really slowing him down. Lack of lamp is, though. This is the real Mire boss. It's spooky too. Specks has actually exhausted like all of his arrows. He does not have enough silvers for the boss. He does have a tempered though, so he could do the tempered fight and then just do 2 arrows into the eyes. If you're good enough, it doesn't save time to do silver arrows. In fact, it might even be a little slower because of lag. We just do this. Specks loves the cape. Use the cape. This probably won't zero cycle though. Let's see if someone can gain time in Meyer. Because he's still an entire Trinex and GT climb behind. Minus, I guess, the time it takes Specks to get the glove out of GT, assuming that's where he finds it. Is it worth hitting the switch? You know what? Given how much time Specky spent... Oh, that's hard to say. Specky spent hitting that switch in the dark. I think someone is probably coming out ahead, hitting the switch in the other room. Alright, Bombo's tablet is predicted right next to Meyer. Easy to do. This could also be a glove. Like, there's gloves everywhere. It's a heart. A glove in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Oh no! Specks got the soft lock. Wherever Specks was going though, it was probably not towards a glove, so maybe that's a win for him. Someone is hitting a switch. I don't think he needs to hit. Let's see, he's gonna bang into a pegs here. Nope, he did hit the switch. Okay, he's good. What was hitting the switch for then earlier? I thought the whole point was to avoid hitting that switch. Maybe he hit it and then, like, went back. Oh, he had to hit it for this chest. Oh, that's what he was doing. Okay, I understand. We've all done it. Kingston, wow. Sphere 1 location. I don't think either runner... Oh, no, someone did Kingston. We saw that. Mountain, good sign. Probably Ether into GT. I always forget. Oh, I expect he's not doing Ether. Well, this is a faster GT then. I don't know if I agree with not doing Ether, but like, at least it'll get him to the glove faster. Spike Cave on the way. Get to see some more Specky capes. Meanwhile, someone catching up on crystals gets one in Meyer, just has to do GT and Trinex to be fully caught up. Specks has to actually do right side GT, that doesn't take 0 time. Specks trying to do spiking without a glove? I didn't think of it, so I can't blame him for not thinking about it. Doesn't this require a glove? Yeah, it does. Maybe he'll go somewhere else. No, he's gone. This time into GT, this might be remembering Ether Tablet. Oh, nope, we'll just say no Ether Tablet. Maybe he did it earlier, like on the way to Trinex. That wouldn't surprise me. This is not GT. This is like Skull Woods or something. Which, again, can still be a glove. Could be a glove on the boss, could be a glove on the green pendant. I don't think Pedestal will be working in his favor, though. So if the glove is on Ped, then this is, like, someone has a chance. Someone's losing a little bit of time not having the Tempered Sword that's in the GT climb. But that's fine. I don't think he was going to be opening a lot of chests up there anyway. Fluffing for Tempered doesn't do as much when you have silvers. So with someone doing ice while Specks looks for the glove, it's going to be a little bit harder to tell who's ahead. I'll declare someone in Specks even on someone entering Thieves Town without, like, trying to get the big chest without the key, and Specks trying to get Spike Cave without the glove, even though I think one of them probably lost more time than the other. think it's easy to think like, oh, Spike Cave can have a glove in it, which is true. It totally can. So when I'm looking for a glove, I should go in there and look for a glove in there. This is a lot of checking for someone. This is definitely some sword fluffing, which means that he probably will get the one in GT if he doesn't find one here. One thing we know is that the other glove will not be in ice. Ice does logically require both gloves. And now Specks going... This is really interesting because I don't actually know that this is a waste of time. Because there could just be another glove here. But Specks does have a limited amount of time before someone catches up. Someone does have TR big. It's just try next for him. I think TR big was in like chain chomps. Nice fight for Specks. And is it a glove? It's the lamp! That had to be somewhere. So the lamp was locked by the fire rod. You had to go to swamp for your first fire source. Good game. Green pendant could still be it. Do you think Specks checks ped? If a glove is on ped, do you go for the swamp pendant, or do you just keep looking somewhere else? Yeah, I agree. You don't check ped here, because there's no world where, like, if that's your glove, that you just get that glove and not the other glove. Specks has so few locations left that you're probably just better off finding the other glove. So now it's just GT climb and Trinex. But, like, Specks has to get the glove still, and has to do Ice Palace. But someone has Tempered Master Sword, and he may or may not get the one that's on the top of JT, because I don't know which chest it was in. Specks did not have an internet connection when he was up there, or at least it wasn't being picked up on our end. Why is Specks delaying GT? I think this is one of those if it's here I'm dead plays. I don't know, I think that's flawed logic. Because climbing GT first and then going back in is not that bad. Until you start skipping it. And the more you skip it, the more bad it is. Like, going back in there now would be bad. But where are we going? Hammer Pigs. Okay. Hammer Pigs has been available for a very long time. This is Puzzle Games MSU. It's got a bunch of like Picross and other things in it. Glove can be in Hammer Pigs, but it's not in this seed. Someone having a little bit of rod spam trouble on the ice head, but it's through. Hat Magic's really nice to have in this fight. Where are we going? We're going to Green Pendant, of course. Oh, it can be in Hammer Pigs if you have Mirror. Okay, dude. I guess it could be. But the ship has sailed for doing anything from desert. And the problem is like, you have to get into Checkerboard Cave. Think about it. Don't worry about that part, okay. It's the thought that counts. And that's someone's last crystal. And Specks, this is a race. No, it's not really. I think someone has a pretty good lead now. I forgot, Specks still has to do ice, so it's gonna be like right side GT and someone climbing GT. And then sometime while someone is climbing GT, Specks will enter Ice Palace and have to full clear it, and then walk to Ganon. We're opening the dungeon with the crystals. It actually baffles me that the other glove hasn't shown up. It's having me, like, count down, like, the locations that it can be, and I'm starting to think it's probably just behind another glove. It's probably, like, in Checkboard Cave, or in Spike Cave. But Pedestal is still an option. And there it is. Save and quit. We've already done GT. No reason to mirror out. I would almost want to open the other chest just to see if it was the other glove. Because, not just because it's funny and I'm curious, but because so few locations remain that if that is the other glove, you're saving a little time going to ice. There is a potential for the sword difference to matter, but someone was opening some chests in ice that you don't normally open in go mode. So I think maybe we'll be opening chests in GT too, but I can't know for sure until I see him do it. Nice G5. G5 with Master is a little scary. There's no reason to ever move down on the screen. Like, if you're too far up, you'll know. Oh no! Specks is soft-locked. Always tap down after the mirror app, unless you're 100% sure that you're high enough. Like, if you're a speedrunner and you don't care about resetting, go ahead and, like, hold diagonal into that transition and ride that hard lock, and then go up. But in Rando, you should probably just tap down, and only saving frames. Nice dash turn for someone. You usually see lamp dashes, but someone doesn't have the lamp. Someone doesn't have the lamp. It's on Moth. Oh no, what a fall. Okay, Specks this time very high up. This is actually safe to hold up, but yeah. He was high enough that he actually could just walk up, but when you're that high, you're also in danger of hard locking. Oh, nice, we get the... I don't know what you call this. The, like, invisible hole. Oh, yeah, you just do pre-Moldorm chests. It's almost easier to do pre-Moldorm chests than to not do it. Most people, like, don't know how to skip it efficiently and still get the magic, so you just do it. And it's a tempered sword, so there's no sword difference. Actually, that 7th arrow is potentially good. I don't expect to see someone use all 7 arrows in Ganon, but it's pretty funny that if you're like, oh, I'm 1 arrow short, you can get one at the very end. Come on, finishing up Agate 2 just as Specks drops into Cold Stare. This still could have been close if it weren't for the soft lock, but now Specks has to go through this whole cutscene and boss fight and then hoof it to Ganon. Hoofing it to Ganon is it's time spent. Yeah, someone was actually like severely behind for most of the race. So if you just got here, Specks was the first to hook shot, which is on Pendant Moldorm. You had to climb the tower normally. And then you had to go to Pendant Swamp, to get the fire rod out of the back. It's your only fire source, because the lamp is on Mothula. And the gloves were just in Narnia, so eventually you get one in Right Side GT, but Specks didn't go there. Specks climbed GT and went everywhere else, reasonably expecting a glove to turn up, and it just didn't, so Specks fell behind. Oh, that was cool. It almost looked like someone could have gotten another silver hit there, but doesn't. Gets 2 doubles in though. It's pretty hard to actually get doubles when you have to like walk around Ganon and position yourself. But he gets it, and that is GG for someone325, just as Specks drops into Ganon. Specks will be finishing this one out on 18 hearts. Really has done a lot of the game. Has 5 silver arrows to work with, so you can miss once. Thank you. Someone advances to face someone else. I should probably look at who that is. Someone is facing mystery opponent. Winner of Skelly and Homemade Beer, which, like, they just did a doubleheader and I don't know the result of. So, I don't actually know if we have an opponent yet. But if we do, if we have an opponent, it's Skelly, because I know that Skelly won the first game. But it could also just be like a game 3 and we don't know yet. Skelly won 2. Okay, so Skelly advances and someone advances and they will race each other. And Specks finishes this one out, making it a pretty close race, just a Ganon apart. GG.
Oh, GG's.
So that was a pretty close one. Unexpected outcome, given that Specks was ahead for most of the race. First to hook shot, first to fire rod, but it really was that glove holding you back, both of you. But
yeah, that was very awkward to not have a glove for that one.
Yeah, your decision to just do GT basement while in there was, what made the difference. I'm a little sad that like Specks did all this other stuff that could have been glove and it wasn't.
Yeah, there
I'm
was a second
watching.
glove out there.
I'm watching the credits to see if it's on PED, but it could also just be glove locked. There's 2 locations that can lock the glove that require the glove. It's not PED.
GG's.
Yeah, GG's.
GG Specs. It does look like your glove was glove locked because you did last location it, except for PED. But I just now found out it's not on PED, so unfortunate.
Yeah, I was hoping on like the 2 gloves, I can probably be a bit aggressive. Like I skipped, I was trying to be a little more aggressive because I had a lot of execution mistakes in this race. Some routing mistakes, but lots of execution errors that made me feel not good about things. So I felt like I had to be aggressive, and just kept not getting the glove. But I'm gonna blame this more. Like, sure, I can say I got unlucky, but I made a lot of execution blunders, which led to some not optimal routing decisions. So GG's to someone. I gotta play better if I'm gonna be able to compete against someone like someone. So I didn't today. So just gotta clean up the gameplay in the future.
Yeah, my execution was fine, but I did have like routing mishaps, like trying to death warp in Thieves Town.
Did you
Which doesn't
know
work.
when you were in Thieves? Did you know that you couldn't kill blind?
Yeah, I gambled on trying to find a weapon, but it didn't work. I didn't
Fair
know
enough.
that after turning him in, I was gonna have death warp, and then fake Dark World happened.
Yeah, I'm guessing like you probably just didn't know that you didn't have a key going into the back.
Oh yeah,
second
that.
time. That was when you see that, you just know like, oh, I've been there. We've all done it.
Yeah.
You just kind of lose your mind a little bit after a seed that made you go to like back of swamp after climbing here normally. Like, who does that?
Yeah, we go to Swamp Balance. That's like a 1 in 10. That happened to me twice.
Oh yeah, it was the 1 in 10. Specs unlocked it from Hera, I think, but you did the 1 in 10 and got like rewarded for it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I had to stay in logic because there had to be something somewhere, right?
Was it out of logic to go to Swamp from Meyer?
Where was the
I
bomb?
didn't have a fire source, so where was Flame?
Oh, you can get there without fire, using the other clip.
Oh yeah, the other click. Is that in logic?
It is.
Dang.
But there is something busted about the key logic where, like, if Vitreous had a small key, it should have been lamp locked, but maybe this is the seed where it wasn't. I didn't see if he had a small key or not, but I know you got both items in the front of Meyer.
Yeah.
But
They just patched the key logic or something. I don't know.
They hopefully will in the future. I think it's like right now as we speak being worked on to make Swamp Logic actually like be its own thing and not just a copy of the left side Meyer logic. But yeah, that was interesting because the fire rod did actually lock the lamp. It was on Ocula.
Oh right. Huh.
So Specs actually already has an opponent. It's Zero Rush in the lower bracket. You still have a chance.
Yeah, that'll be a fun matchup. I'll grind some stuff, try to clean it up, and see what happens.
Cool. I look forward to seeing more of you in the tournament, and of course more of someone. We have guaranteed 4 more races from someone, at least, facing off against Skelly in the next round. You can take your time with those because the lower bracket needs to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, that will be all for SpeedGaming 6 tonight. Later on, nothing more tonight, but we do have more races tomorrow. If you're interested in signing up, we have some that have trackers and some that have comms. So look at the schedule, and if you want to volunteer for any of these races, reach out to me directly or any member of this tournament, and we can set you up.